But the story that we are breaking at the moment, Elon Musk's X, which was formerly Twitter, has now gone and filed a lawsuit against the government of India. The lawsuit has been filed in a Karnataka High Court today, where X claims the centre has used the IT Act, the Information Technology Act, to block content harming IT. The petition claims that this is arbitrary censorship by the central government and wants protection from the High Court for not joining the Sahyog portal. The Sahyog portal was created to streamline Section 79(3)(b). That's the story that's breaking. So Elon Musk, who's of course been in the news because he's been seen by many as, dare one say, the major domo of US President Donald Trump, has gone ahead and filed a case now, or his company X has filed a case against the central government, claiming that the government is using the IT Act to block content. Joining me now is Nalini Sharma. She heads our legal team of Law Today. Nalini, first tell us what this case is all about.
Well, Rajdeep, there are two main things that the X social media platform has told Karnataka High Court. Number one is that the central government is misusing Section 79 of the IT Act to issue takedown orders. They are not authorized to issue takedown orders under Section 79. They are only authorized to do so under 69A. And 79 specifically grants exemption to intermediaries like the social media platforms from any liability regarding third-party content, which basically means content by the users. But there is an exception to that, and that exception is now being misused by the central government, is what X claims. X also claims that there is a Sahyog portal that has been created by the Ministry of Home Affairs, which essentially allows state governments and agencies to issue takedown orders directly, to the extent that the Sahyog portal also provides them a draft takedown order that they just use to issue takedown orders regarding any content that they don't agree with. So these are the two main things that X has told Karnataka High Court. The hearing is on the 27th. What they are asking for is not only for these takedown orders to be declared illegal, but they are also saying that the court should declare that the central government cannot use Section 79 to issue such orders, and that there has to be a streamlined process and there has to be checks and balances under which such public information can be restrained. What we are given to understand is that this petition comes as an answer to the takedown orders that were issued by the government in the aftermath of the stampede that had happened at New Delhi railway station. And because there were several takedown orders that were issued to Twitter asking them to take down the videos of the stampede, is why this petition has essentially been filed. It remains to see what happens on the 27th when the matter comes up and what the central government responds.
You know, very interesting. What you're saying, and this is important, you're saying sources are telling you that this is all because Twitter, or X as it's now called, was asked to take down videos of the tragic stampede that took place in New Delhi railway station. This was during the Kumbh that was taking place last month. You're telling me that this is linked to that, A. B, let's be very clear, Nalini, even the previous leadership of Twitter or X, Jack Dorsey, they too had taken the government to court saying that they were censoring content. How is that different from what Elon Musk is doing now?
Well, absolutely, Rajdeep. In fact, this is not the first time that Twitter and the central government are on opposing ends, even before the Karnataka High Court, because even the earlier petitions were filed before the Karnataka High Court. How it's different is that the earlier orders were being issued by the central government and X was challenging those orders itself. But now what X is stating is that a certain provision of the IT Act, 79(3)(b), that specifically grants exemption to intermediaries from any liability of third-party content, is actually being misused by the central government. So it's one step ahead of what Jack Dorsey-led Twitter was telling the Karnataka High Court earlier. Elon Musk is making a more offensive approach, taking a more offensive approach against the Indian government before the Karnataka High Court, saying that the court should declare that the government cannot misuse a law like this and issue orders to that effect.
Very interesting, Nalini, because here is Elon Musk wanting to come into India, bring Tesla into India, Starlink into India, and the same Elon Musk company X, which is already in the news for all its various AI apps, now wants to, or has taken the government of India to court, saying you are censoring our content. Nalini Sharma of Law Today joining us with all those details. Remember, you can get all the details on Law Today our legal website. Let me turn to the other big story that's happening with the United States Connect. Now, another Indian student is facing deportation from the United States. Badr Khan Suri is a researcher in Georgetown University in Washington. He was arrested by the Department of Homeland Security on Monday on the charge that he was supporting Hamas. Suri claims that that is completely wrong and has gone ahead and challenged the order in court, saying his basic rights are being violated. It comes on the back of another student who only last week self-deported because she too was seen to be supporting the Palestinian cause. Is the Donald Trump government now taking on young Indian students who allegedly are involved in supporting Palestinian causes on the campus? And what does that mean for America's claim to be the home of life and liberty? Take a look.
The US Department of Homeland Security has detained an Indian student for alleged violation of visa terms. Badr Khan Suri, a PhD, was studying and teaching at the Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. Tricia McLaughlin, Assistant Secretary DHS, confirmed that the arrest in a post on X, saying Suri has close connections to a known or suspected terrorist, who is a senior advisor to Hamas. The official did not give any proof to back the charge. The American media quoted Suri's lawyer, Hassan Ahmad, to say the student picked up from his home in Rosslyn, Virginia on Monday night is awaiting his court date in immigration court. The lawyer said the case is possibly based on who Suri's father-in-law is. Suri is married to a Palestinian American whose father, Ahmad Yusuf, is a former advisor to Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas leader assassinated by Israel last year in Iran. Earlier, Ranjini Srinivasan, a Columbia PhD candidate, had self-deported after her visa was cancelled. The DHS accused her of supporting Hamas and instigating violence on campus. Ranjini Srinivasan was arrested last year from Columbia campus on the day pro-Palestinian protesters occupied Hamilton Hall. However, her case was later dismissed by a court. The crackdown on foreign students started with the attempt to deport Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University graduate who took part in pro-Palestinian protest.
An anti-war movement. We have sparked similar Gaza solidarity encampments across the nation and even across the globe.
Khalil has challenged the move by Donald Trump administration in a federal court.
As we try to make clear in court today, what happened to Mahmoud Khalil is nothing short of extraordinary and shocking and outrageous. It should outrage anybody who believes that speech should be free in the United States of America. Mr. Khalil is a lawful permanent resident. He was coming home with his U.S. citizen wife, who is 8 months pregnant, and he was taken by U.S. government agents in retaliation, essentially for exercising his First Amendment rights.
Show up and take a stand! Show up and take a stand!
Last week, scores of people that included Jews staged a sit-in at the Trump Tower in New York to protest the arrest of Khalil.
I'm here to support the students and the illegal way in which they're being treated, particularly the international students, and also because I don't want anti-Semitism to be weaponized to promote these draconian.
Trump was the one who claimed that he's saving freedom of speech, he called that protecting freedom of speech. It's a violation of freedom of speech. It's a dictatorship.
The Trump administration's crackdown on students who took part in pro-Palestine protests has spread fear among the Indian community in the US. America, the land of free speech, today seems to be punishing students for expressing their views. Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to go first across to our Diplomatic Affairs Editor, Geeta Mohan, for the very latest on that. Geeta, this is the second instance where we are seeing an Indian student being deported, in this case actually being arrested and then pending deportation. The earlier was self-deported. How is the MEA, the Ministry of External Affairs, looking at these cases involving Indian citizens?
Well, Rajdeep, for one, the first case where she self-deported was because the agencies had gone looking for her. She got to know about it and therefore went on the app, self-deported and left the country. In this case, he was not aware. He was home. He was picked up, is in detention, and he has family there. He's married to an American of Palestinian origin. He has a child with the he also has a child, and so for him it is a very complicated case should he be asked to come back to India. He is an Indian national, and certainly there are many others who are now fearing the very same thing, that if they wrote something which is pro-Palestinian, which the agencies could consider supporting the Hamas, then they would, they fear revocation of visas, even green cards. So there's a real fear there. In terms of how the Ministry of External Affairs has reacted, we sought reaction to this one particular incident. We haven't got a formal reaction from the ministry yet, but we do know that they're looking at it very closely, monitoring the situation. There could be a case where a lot of students could be sent back. There are two important aspects to it. One is them being sent back because of revocation of visas, given that they could or would have participated in some sort of pro-Palestinian protest or movement. On the other hand, freezing of funds, also another worry. So panic in the United States of America, but no official word right now from the MEA. Although we do know that they're monitoring the situation, the embassy is aware.
You know, what does monitoring the situation mean, Geeta? Sorry to be very direct. The Ministry of External Affairs has been very reluctant to take on the Trump administration on any of these issues. It almost seems as if, these are Indian citizens, I repeat. So it seems that the Ministry of External Affairs simply doesn't want to get tangled with the Department of Homeland Security, almost seeming that this is an internal matter of the United States.
Well, two very important things over here, and that's why the Indian administration is treading a very, very thin line over here, Rajdeep. One is that on illegal nationals, they had a position. India itself has been battling it, does not want to get into a space where they're questioning the other government, and has said that if Indians have entered America illegally, they can be sent back. They're welcome to. In this case, it's even more serious, because over here they're not just entering a country illegally, have done nothing wrong over here. Over here they're considered being part of or supporting a terrorist organization. Look at the charges that are being leveled against Suri. They're very serious charges. Not only has he been charged with being pro-Palestinian or engaging in pro-Palestinian activities, he's been charged with, or those are the charges that could be leveled against him should he be taken to court, of indulging in terrorist activities, being involved with terrorist organizations. In fact, he's been called an advisor to a Hamas leader, and his wife, who's of Palestinian origin, her father, his father-in-law, connected to or part of the Hamas. So very serious allegations over here, and that certainly is the reason why the Indian administration right now trying to read the room and see how difficult is it going to be for India to navigate the space where they're calling them anti-national or anti-America or even terrorists.
Okay. Geeta Mohan joining me there at the moment. I can tell you that we're getting to hear from sources in Georgetown University, where Badr was, that the legal team has requested no letters or protests for the next few days, but we will respond when it is appropriate. Karan Thukral is an advocate at the Supreme Court, joins me at the moment. He handles immigration cases as well. Karan, what are the legal options in a case like this if the Department of Homeland Security picks up an Indian student, says he in this instance has links to Hamas? Does he really have any strong options?
Well, he has to contest the case. I mean, this is very serious allegations which has been, put up against him. And his wife was an American citizen. What has happened is, he has to put forward the evidence before him that he has to show that he has no links with the Hamas actually organization. I mean, whether it is in India or in US, if this would have happened in India, this would have been treated very seriously over here also. I mean, if a person is having a link with a terrorist organization, this has to be dealt by the court, not by the government.
In your sense, all these Indian students who may have participated in protests that took place over the last couple of years on Gaza, on Palestine, do they all become vulnerable now?
No, they become definitely vulnerable, but at the end of the day, evidence has to be put forth. I mean, there has to be very substantive evidence which can be put forth in the court which shows that there is a link between these students who were basically in a very general way protesting, and which they in those students or those individuals which had any link with this organization.
I'm going to leave it there. We'll wait and see how this plays out. But I appreciate you joining me, Karan, to tell me that this is a tough struggle that in this particular instance, this young man will now have to face. He will have to prove in court of law, essentially, that he has no links with Hamas. Let's turn back to domestic politics. Karnataka, where the Natakas continue. And today, Karnataka's politics rocked by yet another scandal inside the assembly. A minister, listen to this carefully, K.N. Rajanna, accepted in the Karnataka assembly that he was the victim of a honey trap attempt. He also claimed that at least 48 people have been honey trapped and their obscene videos are being made. State Home Minister G. Parmeshwar has ordered a high-level probe. Rajanna also added that the issue is not only limited to Karnataka, but national-level leaders are being honey-trapped. The BJP describes the matter as very serious and has sought a thorough inquiry. First, let's listen in to what the reactions on the latest honey trap scandal in Karnataka are.
ಈ ಸಿಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಪೆನ್ ಡ್ರೈವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನನಗಿರೋ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಅಂತ 48 ಜನಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಬ್ರು ಇಬ್ರು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸೀಮಿತ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರೇ, ಇದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪಕ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮುಖಂಡಗಳು ಅನೇಕ ಪೆನ್ ಡ್ರೈವ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇದಾವೆ. ಆ ಒಂದು ದೃಷ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಆರೋಪ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಆರೋಪಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
Sir, one more important issue, what Rajanna minister has said is more than 45-48 leaders, they are the victim of this honey trap. And he did not name anybody, but he has said that some national leaders has also been victim. So I'm 100, this matter, you can't expect any fair investigation by SIT or anybody else, or nor by sitting retired High Court judge. It has to be referred to CBI investigation.
I want to go to our Bangalore Bureau Chief Nagarjun Dwarkanath for the very latest. Nagarjun, it's very interesting that here is a minister who allegedly has been honey trapped. So is the claim. Is the minister who reportedly also was taking on DK Shivkumar, the strongman. Is there a link that is being seen? A minister now claiming that he has been honey trapped, and not just him, but 48 leaders have been honey trapped?
Well, things are murkier right now because there's also personal life involved in this, Rajdeep. It is not just Rajanna. Many within the assembly also were surprised that if their name is in the 48 list. In a lighter note, what happened was when Rajanna said 48 people, many of the legislators walked up to Rajanna to check if their name is on the list, if he has any information that if they have been honey trapped, and if their name is in that 48 as well. But what is happening is, yes, it's a power struggle. Many in the Congress government feel that it's one of their own who is trying to do this, and they are yet to come out with a name. We are yet to know that who is the man behind this whole honey trap. Today, the BJP also stood up and said that we support Rajanna. Unitedly, we have to fight this, that we can't defame people and put them in shame in public through honey trap. If you have to fight with ideology and work, and not through honey trap, is what the BJP also said. Home Minister was in the House. He stood up and said that there would be a high-level investigation that would be taking place. Everyone in the House has welcomed, but the big question is that who is the man behind the whole honey trap?
But are these videos already in the public domain? Are these videos with the minister? Do these videos exist or not?
These are all whispers in the power corridors, but what I can confirm from a couple of sources is that there's been no video of Minister Rajanna, but it was an attempt that was done, and Rajanna caught it immediately that it was an attempt carried out on him. to honey trap him. Usually what happens in this honey trap case is, Rajdeep, that people end up calling initially on video calls and screen record and then leak these videos and blackmail the individuals. That's how it's done, and Rajanna has caught this, is what we are told.
Right.
Initially, it was in the last 3 months, but now it has come to the full light.
Very interesting at the moment. Karnataka politics seems to be regularly caught in tapes, videotapes of some kind or the other, and that puts all the politicians across party lines on the defensive. Nagarjun Dwarkanath joining me on that story from Karnataka. Appreciate your joining me. Let me turn from there to Mumbai, where nearly 5 years after the death of celebrity manager Disha Salyan, her father Satish Salyan has now approached the Bombay High Court seeking a registration of an FIR against Shiv Sena UBT leader Aditya Thackeray and others. There was a ruckus in the Maharashtra Assembly on Thursday over the petition. Many Mahayuti coalition members entering the well of the House demanding the arrest of Aditya Thackeray. On the other hand, Aditya Thackeray claiming that this petition and the manner in which it has been brought clearly suggests that this is an attempt in some way to politically target him. Remember, the petition is claiming that Disha Salyan, who had worked closely with Sushant Singh Rajput, the actor who committed suicide, was raped, allegedly committed suicide, was raped and murdered, and there was a politically orchestrated cover-up to protect certain persons. But why has this case come up suddenly after 5 long years? Listen into the two sides.
कोशिश पिछले 5 सालों से हो रही है, चलती आई है। अब अगर कोई आज बात कोर्ट में है तो कोर्ट में जवाब देंगे। मैं तो लड़ते आया हूं और अभी भी आप ही के लोगों में हूं। लोगों से जो लोगों के काम है वो लेके जा रहा हूं। मात्र यही है कि बदनामी की कोशिश चलती रहेगी। मेरी लड़ाई इस देश के लिए चलती रहेगी।
3 नाम उसके पिताजी ने लिए, आदित्य ठाकरे, सूरज पंचोली, डिनो, उसके पिताजी ने नाम लिए। तो भी आप बोलते कौन मास्टरमाइंड है? कौन होएगा मास्टरमाइंड? कौन होएगा ना? Ask yourself. Yesterday the father has taken names. अब और आपको क्या चाहिए प्रूफ? उसमें ना नीतीश राणे ने नाम लिया है, ना किसी और ने।
Politics, my friends, has become a murky business. Whether it is honey trap in Karnataka or cases that resurface after 5 years. Let me turn from there to our talking point tonight. Last night, we saw a late-night, midnight crackdown on farmers who are protesting for the last 1 year at the Punjab-Haryana borders. The move has led to the detention of nearly 500 farmers, and many of the protest sites were cleared overnight by over 3,000 Punjab police personnel and multiple bulldozers. Now, the AAP government in Punjab claims that the farmers' protest is hurting the state's economy. The opposition is accusing the AAP of hypocrisy. Remember, while talks between the centre and the farmers have hit another stalemate, and the Modi government was on the defensive a few years ago, this time the AAP government is facing the fury of the farmers. But has the farmers' protest really lost steam now? That's going to be my talking point. But first, take a look at the story.
High drama at the Punjab-Haryana borders. At least 500 to 700 farmers detained in a late-night crackdown. Tens of farmers protesting since February last year bulldozed. Dharnas at the Shambhu and Khanori borders uprooted swiftly by 3,000 security personnel and multiple JCBs. Farmer leaders like Jagjit Singh Dallewal, who were fasting for the Kisan cause, were also detained. The Punjab government cracked down on unsuspecting farmers soon after the protesters held talks with the centre.
ऐसे मार के हमारा ट्रैली तोड़ दिया, ट्रैक्टर तोड़ दिया, हमारा बहुत धक्का करे हमारे से। ये भगवंत मान सरकार के वास्ते ठीक नहीं है। इसको जड़ पट दिया ने भगवंत मान को। अगली बार इसको एक वोट भी नहीं कोई देगा जिम्मेदार।
साढ़ा लाख रुपए का नुकसान करता है, कौन भरपाई करेगा? ये सरकार करेगी।
The state border, once swarmed with farmers, is now empty.
The last blocks being moved away by Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab. Many would see this as a very unpopular move, especially acting against the farmer.
The scenes at the Shambhu border, however, were a far cry from the protests in 2021 when farmers had received support across classes as they took on the government against farm reform laws. The protest at Shambhu, which has been on for more than a year, had frustrated locals.
तो आपको क्या तकलीफ हो रही थी यहाँ?
काफ़ी ज़्यादा तकलीफ थी। जो हमारी गाड़ियाँ रहती थी, वेंडर्स की गाड़ियाँ, वो काफ़ी घूम के आती थी, करीबन 80 किलोमीटर 90 किलोमीटर घूम के आ रही थी। तो टाइम का भी डिले और काफ़ी चीज़ों में डिले आ रहा था।
बहुत लेट हो गया, हम तो बहुत परेशान हो गए थे। हमारे बच्चे अम्बाड़ा पढ़ते हैं, बताओ। अब हमें डेली 1 साल से उनको ना खुद यहाँ कभी नदी से कभी कहीं से छोड़ जाना पड़ रहा था।
1.25 साल से काम ये बंद हो रखा था। हर जगह, हर छोटा बड़ा हर व्यक्ति परेशान हो रहा था जी। अब शुक्र है आज रास्ता खुल जाएगा, सभी के लिए बहुत अच्छा है।
The late night crackdown on farmers put the spotlight on the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab, which had backed the Kisan cause earlier. Now Bhagwant Mann government defends the crackdown, claiming that the protests harmed Punjab's economy.
तो किसान भाइयों को बार-बार रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि आप धरना करो, प्रोटेस्ट करो, पर लेकिन नेशनल हाईवे ना रोको।
Aam Aadmi Party U-turn led to backlash from the Congress, the Akali Dal and the BJP.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੰਡਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਤੇ ਦਿਹਾਤੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿੰਡੂਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੰਡ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਬਰਾਬਰ।
एक साजिश के तहत पूरी किसानी पे हमला पंजाब में किया जा रहा है। बड़ी फौजें वहां खड़ी कर दी हैं। किसानों की पीठ में छुरा फूंका जा रहा है, किसानी को मारा जा रहा है।
Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi joined protests outside Parliament over the Punjab government's crackdown on the farmers. The farmers are now threatening wider protests against Bhagwant Mann, crying betrayal. But so far, the Chief Minister remains silent on the late-night crackdown. With Kamaljeet Sandhu, Asim Bassi, Aman Bhardwaj, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's raise some of the big questions that story evokes. Has the farmer protest lost its focus? Will there be any attempt to meet the farmers' demands, or is it now too late? What next really for these farmer protests that have dogged the politics of this country in Punjab and beyond for several years now? I'm joined by Yogendra Yadav, co-founder Swaraj India. Remember, he was one of the driving forces when these first protests took place in 2020. I'm also joined by Sunny Singh Ahluwalia, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab. I want to turn to you, Yogendra Yadav, first. The images that we saw yesterday were of the farmer protests being disrupted, bulldozers being used, the protest sites being broken apart. What's your sense of it? Is it that now the farmers have lost public goodwill and therefore a government can get away by doing what they could not have countenanced 3 or 4 years ago when the Modi government tried it? There was an outcry. Now we don't see that same kind of anger and outrage.
Not really, Rajdeep. The history of farmers' movement tells us that farmers' movement does reach a point where it looks as if what you're describing is true, but then it revives again. Let us not forget that this particular agitation, which has been going on now for 14 months, is not a united agitation by the entire Sanyukta Kisan Morcha. It was only one section of Sanyukta Kisan Morcha, which called itself Sanyukta Kisan Morcha Non-Political. They had launched it, and an overwhelming majority of farmers' unions of the Sanyukta Kisan Morcha had actually stayed away from it. So it's not the entire farmers' movement. But it's very heartening to note that in reaction to this, both the unions have come together. Sanyukta Kisan Morcha has issued a statement this evening saying, we may not be there, but we will not tolerate this. There is no doubt, Rajdeep, that this was causing enormous inconvenience to public. I've been there, I've crossed it. I know what people are telling your reporters is true. There was enormous inconvenience. While we notice the inconvenience, we forget why is it that the inconvenience was being caused. It was being caused because the central government, and dare I say even the state government, did not show the political will to address it. In the case, so there are three questions here. One to the central government. Why were you not so serious even for 13 months? Why did you have to wait for fast unto death by the Levalji to begin to even notice and start a negotiation? And why are you not serious about negotiations? 6 months, 6 weeks every time, tariq pe tariq. The question to Aam Aadmi Party would be, you took one stand, you said farmers were completely justified in doing what they were doing, and overnight you changed your stand. Did the Chief Minister even make an appeal? What you are saying today, Was it said by the government even 2 days ago? Did the Chief Minister appeal to the farmers to please move away? Did he hold negotiations with the farmers? And did the Punjab government do what Punjab government could have done? Remember, on the 5th of March, the Sanyukta Kisan Morcha wanted to go to Chandigarh and demand of the Aam Aadmi Party government things that Punjab government could have done. They did not allow even that. And the question for farmers movement is, can the farmers movement repeat the same strategy, the same tactics, the same mode of protest every time? And the even bigger question is, can farmers struggle achieve its objective when it is not united? That to me is the largest question that we face today.
I'm going to come to that largest question in a moment, whether the farmers can achieve their objectives. But Sunny Singh Ahluwalia, spokesperson Aam Aadmi Party, as Yogendra Yadav is mentioning, both when the Modi government did not implement, for example, the legal guarantee on minimum support price, AAP, among others, criticized the Modi government. Now the shoe is on your foot, and it's your government which is being accused of not doing enough to reach out to the farmers. Instead, you've used the bulldozers to break their agitation.
Definitely, Rajdeep sir, as Yadav sir has already said, there are many other unions in Punjab. There are many organizations, out of which some of the seniors are Balbir Singh Rajewal Sahab and the Ugraha Group. They have clearly mentioned that we are not going to stop any of the national highways going in or going out of the Punjab. So one thing is very clear, they are divided on this. Their stand is clear that this fight is between the center and the farmers. It is not between the state and the farmers. Yes, the Sardar Bhagwant Singh Mann from the very first day said that we are with the farmers. We stand with the farmers. We are the party which came out of the agitation only. We are not against any agitation. But
he walked out of a meeting with the farmers, sir, with due regard. The same Bhagwant Mann who said that we are with the farmers walked out with a meeting with the farmers a few weeks ago in the Chief Minister's Secretariat. So when you're in power, then you don't reach out to them. When you're in the opposition, you use the farmers to come to power.
But at the same time, Rajdeep sir, we have requested many times to just open one side of the border. We are requesting them, the Chief Minister has been requesting them again and again. And if after the again request, they said we want to block one more road, which is coming towards the Chandigarh, and we want to enter Chandigarh for the same protest. The fight is between the center. They are not letting us the farmer bills. They are not letting us giving up the MSP. They are releasing the farmer bills in some other way by making a new agriculture policy, which is against the farmers. We are standing. Because we are also the son of farmers. Our Chief Minister is a son of farmer. He knows what is right and what is wrong. But at the same time, we are against the highways. We want to make Punjab a Rangla Punjab, and we are requesting the same to the farmers again and again. But by saying that we have done this overnight, it is not true. We have been requesting them.
You know, given what you're hearing, Yogendra Yadav, this reveals the predicament of any government in dealing with the farmers, also particularly because, as was just suggested by Mr. Ahluwalia, many of the farmers' unions are themselves divided. How do you then achieve the objective if your objective is a legal guarantee for MSP, which increasingly looks difficult to achieve? Having taken that maximalist position, are the farmers' unions now being given a bit of a reality check in Punjab last night, and dare I say, by the centre also?
I wouldn't agree with that, Rajdeep. I think the experience of farmers' struggle tells us that farmers have to fight 3 or 4 times to achieve one big demand, and MSP is not going to be a small demand. I keep saying, पहली बार सुनाने के लिए, दूसरी बार मनवाने के लिए, तीसरी बार मानी हुई बात को लिखवाने के लिए, और चौथी बार लिखी हुई बात को लागू करवाने के लिए. So farmers have to fight for 4 times for one single demand. MSP demand, farmers are taking big strides, and you would see even bigger agitations in times to come. My unease with what Aam Aadmi Party has done, my disappointment and sadness is, number one, because there is an element of cloak and dagger in what was done last night. I mean, remember, Mr. Jagdish Singh Dalewal, etc., had gone for a meeting with them, for a negotiation. When you go out to Chandigarh for negotiation, on the way back you are nabbed, you are arrested. I mean, these are kind of games which governments who are anti-farmers play. And obviously the Punjab farmers now feel that the Bhagwant Mann government is doing exactly what anti-farmers government do. That's one. Number two, Punjab government could have done a number of things for Punjab farmers, for which the Sanyukta Kisan Morcha, including the leaders that my friend from Aam Aadmi Party mentioned, they wanted to go to Chandigarh and present to the Chief Minister those demands. Why were they not allowed? These were not demands from central government. As far as MSP is concerned, I do think that the effect of this particular incident would be that various factions of Sanyukta Kisan Morcha will come together to launch even a bigger struggle. Rajdeep, I can tell you on this show, the country is preparing for an even bigger farmers' movement than what we witnessed 2 years ago in Delhi.
You know, you're saying that, but the truth of the matter is there are those who believe that the farmers' movement has lost its momentum, that this is now confined to a pocket of Punjab, and even the tactics being used are, as you said, you admitted at the outset, are leaving a lot of people inconvenienced, and therefore there isn't the same level of sympathy or empathy for the farmers that there was 4 years ago.
I mean, you can't repeat the same tactics, the same format of struggle every time. And obviously, there is a room for farmers' movement to think their strategy, tactics. After all, there is a large public sympathy for farmers, and farmers should not do anything which would lose them the sympathy. So, yes, all these tactics need to be worked out. But here we are discussing the manner in which the state government has responded, and which I think leaves a lot to be desired. I would have expected this from a BJP government, not from an Aam Aadmi Party government, and that's a question so many people would be asking in Punjab. Farmers too need to ask this question: how do we create a struggle for MSP, which is not confined only to the few states of North India, because after all, the real beneficiaries of MSP will be farmers in Bihar, in eastern UP, in other parts of the country. How to involve them and how to do a larger united struggle, that remains the principal challenge. But at the moment right now, we should not assume that this challenge cannot be met in future.
I want to, Mr. Ahluwalia, a final word. Are you again willing to reach out to the farmers, or have you taken this approach ki ab bahut ho gaya? We've gone far enough. We are now going to try and break this struggle. Is that the approach now of the Maan government?
No, Rajdeep sir, one thing is very clear. We are always open to talks to the farmers. It is not at all a problem. When the chief minister is ready to talk at every time, when our ministers are sitting with them, then what is the fun of holding a dharna on the roads? When we are directly talking to you, why you want to hold a dharna? Why you want to hold a protest? When the government is with you, why you are against the government? The demands which they have asked to us, increasing the sugarcane price, increasing the uninterrupted electricity, increasing the compensation, everything has been agreed by the Punjab Chief Minister. Then what is the use of putting a dharna against the state which is standing with you? Why the farmers are divided on these issues?
Okay, let me leave it there. Clearly, you're questioning the methods, but there is a larger question whether the Punjab government has bitten more than they can chew. The same government which came to power in a way promising to meet all the farmers' demands now suddenly finds itself being accused of breaking the farmers' movement. Yogendra Yadav, Mr. Ahluwalia, appreciate you joining us on that big developing story. Let me turn from there to another story. You've all heard of the washing machine and the cases against politicians by the Enforcement Directorate. How are these cases proceeding? An interesting reply by the central government in Parliament was revealing yesterday. Between 2015 and 2025, the ED filed 193 cases against politicians, including MPs and MLAs. But there have been only two convictions. Here is the catch. There have been no acquittals either, which some believe means that the process in India is the punishment. Our National Bureau Chief Munish Pandey, who tracks the ED, joins me. Munish, when I look at those statistics, 195 cases, only 193 cases, only 2 convictions. What does the ED have to say? Okay, let me go straight to Munish Pandey, who's joining me at the moment. Munish, what is the ED's response?
Well, Rajdeep, there are some facts which the ED wants to put before everyone. They are investigating as of now 7,000 cases, out of which there are 193 cases against politicians. Out of these 193 cases, ED has secured conviction in 2 cases, whereas in other 191 cases, the cases are still under trial or, they are still under investigation. But why this delay? Now, ED claims that, being the enforcement directorate, there is a law that till the time they don't have a conviction or acquittal in a predicate offense case, which may be in case of Central Bureau of Investigation or the the state police cases, till the time conviction or acquittal is not secured in the primary case, till that time, the Enforcement Directorate can't go ahead with securing conviction or acquittal. So they, at this point of time, are claiming that since the time, because the judiciary is slow, because the predicate offense, cases are still under trial, that is why they have not been able to secure convictions or acquittal in those cases. As far as total record
but the matter then goes on, sorry to intervene, but then the matter is going on for years. I mean, that is the process, is the punishment. The ED is now blaming the judiciary?
Well, at this point of time, Rajdeep, I spoke to several officials regarding this. They are saying that till the time they don't have a conviction in the primary case, they can't go ahead and have a trial finished by the court. As far as total conviction rate is concerned, in total, the ED has, in 47 cases, the trial has finished. And out of 47 cases, in 44 cases, ED has secured conviction, which means that the conviction rate is more than 93%. But as far as political cases are concerned, yes, it is true that in 193 cases, they have a conviction in 2 cases, and in 190 cases, trial is still going on.
Okay.
Rajdeep.
Munish Pandey giving us a sense of making sense of those numbers for us. Thank you very much. Okay, let me turn to the story that I believe is a story that will be a real shocker. Love, lies, drugs, and a gruesome murder. A woman and her lover murdered the woman's husband, chopped off his body, hid it in a drum with cement and sand. This happened in Meerut, and now reportedly there's a confession. Take a look at this shocker from Meerut.
A murder that sent shockwaves across the nation. A wife Muskan and her lover Sahil murder the husband Saurabh, chop his body into pieces and hide it inside a drum and cover it with cement in Uttar Pradesh's Meerut. All because the husband Saurabh stopped Muskan from consuming drugs with her illicit lover. After butchering Saurabh, Muskan and Sahil went on a vacation. Distraught, Muskan's parents say she does not deserve to live and must be hanged.
कुछ अजीब से बिहेव कर रही है लड़की.
पाउडर भी ले रखा है कोई ड्रग्स वगैरह, ये उपलब्ध कराता था ये लड़का. मेरी लड़की कह रही है कि उसने ये कहा कि अब हमें नशे करने को ये मंजूरी नहीं देगा और हम नशे नहीं कर पाएंगे. अब क्या करना है तो उन्हें कहा इसे हटाना पड़ेगा.
Muskan's parents believe her paramour Sahil got her addicted to drugs when their affair began. Now images have emerged of the accused Sahil's room that's filled with bizarre graffiti and some of it resembling satanic symbols as well. Sahil's room was also filled with alcohol bottles.
किस तरीके की सोच थी, क्या अंधविश्वासी सोच थी, ये पुलिस की जांच में ये एंगल भी है, क्योंकि ये आप यहाँ पर जो तमाम तस्वीरें हैं उसको देख करके किसी की मानसिक दशा की स्थिति समझी जा सकती है. इस तरीके के भी कई निशान यहाँ पर बना रखे थे. कई सारी चीजें पुलिस ने यहाँ से बरामद की है. इस टेबल को देख करके भी अंदाजा लगाया जा सकता है, पर अगर इस टेबल को देखेंगे तो देख करके अंदाजा लगाया जा सकता है कि किस कदर नशे का आदी था साहिल.
Muskan and Sahil confessed to stabbing Saurabh to death. On the night of March 4th, Muskan laced Saurabh's food with sedatives after luring him on pretext of celebrating her birthday. The duo stabbed Saurabh in the chest with a butcher's knife and then slit his throat. They cut off his hands, hid it in a large plastic drum, cement and sand. Despite a 2-hour effort, police were unable to open the drum due to the hardened cement and had it sent to the mortuary where the drum was eventually cut open to recover the body.
पुलिस द्वारा जो शव है उसको रिकवर कर लिया गया है। उस शव को पोस्टमार्टम के लिए मोर्चरी भिजवाया गया है और इसमें जो दोनों ये हैं साहिल और मुस्कान, इन दोनों को हिरासत में ले लिया गया, गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है। परिजनों की तहरीर के आधार पर सुसंगत धाराओं में मुकदमा पंजीकृत कर लिया गया है। अब इन दोनों को ही माननीय न्यायालय के सामने पेश कर आवश्यक विधिक कार्रवाई की जा रही है।
The victim and Muskan's husband Saurabh had told his family he worked in the merchant navy, but he was actually employed at a bakery in London. The incident occurred in Meerut after he recently returned from London. With Himanshu Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's turn to tonight's Get Real India story. Now, Kota was once India's top coaching hub, but today it faces a sharp decline in student enrollment that's impacting an entire business that was built around these coaching centers. This is because of rising concern over student suicides and competition from other cities. What is the decline that's taken place in Kota? It's tonight's Get Real India story.
Once called the coaching hub of the country, Kota's coaching economy is under immense pressure. The fall in number of students taking coaching in Kota for various competitive examinations, especially for engineering and medical, is significant. In 2023 to 24, 1,75,351 students took coaching for NEET, JEE in Kota. In 2024 to 25, this has come down to 1,22,616 students, a drop of 30% in a year.
कोई ऐसा स्टडी हुआ नहीं है कि बच्चे क्यों गए हैं क्यों नहीं गए हैं। मुझे जो लगता है कि आजकल बच्चों के पास ऑनलाइन के ऑप्शन हो गए, एक तो वो रीज़न रहा होगा। डिनर विद कलेक्टर हमारा इनिशिएटिव है और बच्चों के साथ मैं क्लासेस में जाके डायरेक्ट संवाद भी करता हूँ। इसके अलावा स्टूडेंट्स हमारे हेल्पलाइन पे जब भी शिकायत करते हैं कि किसी तरह की उनको समस्या आ रही है, तो उसको रेगुलर बेसिस पे मैं एडीएम सिटी और हमारे जो नोडल कोऑर्डिनेटर बनाए हुए हैं वो सब उनको सॉर्ट आउट कराने की कोशिश की जा रही है।
कोटा हैज अ लीगेसी ऑफ ऑलमोस्ट 30+ years of quality education all over the India. The system has been followed, so definitely we will bounce back.
The real situation is more grim. The spate of suicides in Kota has clearly not helped the cause of the numerous stakeholders deeply invested in the coaching industry. In 2023, 27 students died by suicide in Kota. Next year saw 16 suicide deaths. In 2025, so far, 6 students have died by suicide in Kota. In the last 12 years itself, more than 150 students have died by suicide in Kota district.
सुसाइड्स रोकने के लिए बेसिकली पुलिस का और छात्रों का संवाद होना बहुत जरूरी है। न केवल पुलिस का और छात्रों का, बल्कि छात्रों का अपने टीचर्स के साथ में भी, अपने काउंसलर्स के साथ में भी, साइकोलॉजिस्ट के साथ में भी। जैसा आजकल अभी किया हुआ भी है कि हर एक कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में साइकोलॉजिस्ट और काउंसलर्स भी बिठाए गए हैं।
मेरे अकॉर्डिंग नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स में 40 to 50% की लास्ट ईयर के अकॉर्डिंग गिरावट आई है और इसका मेन रीजन ये है कि अभी जैसे बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स बहुत सारे शहरों में खुल गए हैं।
इसमें जैसे 2-3 कारण लगता है। एक तो हर सिटी में जो इंस्टीट्यूट खुले तो सबको पता ही है, बट एक ऑनलाइन कोचिंग का भी है कि लोग सोच रहे हैं कि ऑनलाइन लेके हम घर से लाइब्रेरी ज्वाइन करके या सेल्फ स्टडी करके भी कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ऑनलाइन में भी वही चीजें मिल रही हैं।
For long, Kota's coaching industry had become a money minting business that provides many indirect jobs as well. Various stakeholders from developers to builders, PG hostel owners and coaching institute owners are hoping that old times will return.
पहले बढ़िया माल बिकता था, पहले 10,000 की सेल होती थी रोज की, अब 2,000 की होने लगी, तो बहुत डाउन हो गया हमारा।
50% पर का पड़ा है सर, 50% पहले से आधा रह गया बिजनेस। क्या कारण मानते हैं उसके पीछे? स्टूडेंट कम है सर कोटा में, पिछले साल के अपेक्षा बहुत कम है।
सबके बहुत परेशान है, सबके ऊपर का पड़ा इस चीज।
With Devankur Vadhavan in Kota, Bureau Report, India Today.
Kota's coaching factory troubles. Let me leave you though with our final good news today's story. It's a new breakthrough in cancer research. Researchers in West Bengal have discovered mushrooms with compounds that they claim have the property of killing cancer cells. Their study has now been published and peer-reviewed in an international journal. I leave you with our good news today's story. Stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubhratri. Jai Hind, Namaskar.
A study that could be significant for cancer cure. Dr. Swapan Kumar Ghosh, a researcher in West Bengal, has discovered a cancer-killing compound in a species of mushrooms that grow in the forests of Bankura and Birbhum. The research paper by Dr. Ghosh, Kaushik Pandey, Madhuparna Ghosh and Pradeep Kumar Sur has been published in the British scientific journal Nature.
We have discovered one F12 product. Within the F12 product, there are 6 compounds. And the mushroom you mentioned is known as Asterias asiaticus. This mushroom grows generally mycorrhizally under some specific tree and soil, and found that those who are eating this mushroom are suffered by less cancer, and survive very much.
Dr. Ghosh, who is a professor at the Ramakrishna Mission Vivekanand Centenary College in Rahara, detected the presence of F12, a mixture of 6 key compounds in Asterias asiaticus mushroom. According to Dr. Ghosh, these compounds have the potential to prevent or treat 3 types of cancer: cervical, breast and lungs.
Our product F12 is very important, and if anyone takes mushroom 50 grams per day, it will protect the cancer. It act as therapeutic treatment or treatment of the cancer, and it has no toxicity.
While the study spells hope, there is still a long way to go.
लिमिटेशन ये है कि ये जो स्टडी है अभी सिर्फ प्री क्लिनिकल मॉडल्स में सेल लाइंस में हुई। अभी इसको बहुत फेजेस में निकलना पड़ेगा। और एक समझने की बात यह है कि जो हम लैब में करते हैं और जो ह्यूमन बॉडी में होता है उसमें भी कई बार फर्क आ जाता है। बट आई होप कि जिस तरीके से रिजल्ट्स आ रहे हैं और जिस तरीके से डेटा आ रहा है, अगर ये प्रूव हो जाती है तो ये ऑब्वियसली एक बहुत अच्छा एडिशनल वेपन होगा हमारे पास फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ कैंसर।
इनफैक्ट मशरूम के अलावा कुछ फंगस भी है कि जहाँ पे ये पाया गया कि उनसे जो एक्सट्रैक्ट लिया गया वो भी कैंसर सेल लाइन्स के अंदर काम कर रही हैं। बट क्योंकि अभी वो ह्यूमन ट्रायल्स तक नहीं आया है, ये रिसर्च जो हमारे पास आई है जिसमें F12 कंपाउंड आया है, मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी बहुत सराहनीय काम किया गया है। और कंपाउंड्स भी हैं हमारे पास, तो हर एक कंपाउंड की एक ट्रायल बेस की जाए, एक स्टडी की जाए, ताकि हम इस बीमारी को जड़ से खत्म करने का प्रयास करें।
Dr. Ghosh says his study will soon enter the next step: human trials, in association with the government hospital.
But the entire team led by Dr. Ghosh are very, very confident that very soon enough they will be able to convert this compound into a drug which will not only eliminate the fear of cancer, but the entire fear, whatever goes in the minds of those patients who have suffered from this humongous disease. With camera person Shamsundar Ghosh, this is Suryagni Roy for India Today, Kolkata.